The alarm blared in the emergency ward, but Dr. Emily Carter couldn't hear anything except the desperate gasps of the old man collapsing just outside the glass doors. His frail hands clawed at the air as his knees buckled, falling onto the cold pavement. Nurses froze, waiting for orders. "Stay at your post, Dr. Carter," her supervisor barked from behind, his voice sharp and unyielding. But Emily's heart thundered louder than the sirens. In that split second, she knew she had two choices: obey the rulebook and stay inside where it was safe, or break protocol, rush out, and risk everything: her reputation, her career, her future. Without thinking, she sprinted past the sliding doors, her white coat billowing behind her, kneeling beside the stranger whose life dangled between breaths. Pressing her palms hard against his chest, she whispered through clenched teeth. "Don't you dare leave me, not tonight." She counted the compressions out loud, her voice trembling but steady enough to keep rhythm. 1, 2, 3, sweat dripped down her brow, her arms burning, but she refused to stop. The man's pulse flickered faintly, then faded, then returned. A crowd gathered, watching in stunned silence as Emily fought for his life under the cold glow of the hospital lights. Finally, after what felt like hours but was only minutes, the old man gasped and drew in a deep, rattling breath. His chest rose on its own. His eyes flickered open. Emily sagged with relief, tears welling in her eyes. "You're going to be okay. I've got you." But the victory didn't last. The next morning, Emily was called into her supervisor's office. Dr. Reynolds sat behind his desk, his face unreadable. He didn't congratulate her. He didn't thank her. Instead, he slid a letter across the polished wood. "Dr. Carter, you're terminated effective immediately." Her breath caught. "Terminated? I saved a man's life." "You abandoned your post," Dr. Reynolds said flatly. "You disobeyed a direct order. Protocol exists for a reason. You compromised the hospital's liability. I'm sorry, but rules are rules." Emily's voice cracked as she whispered, "Rules over life?" But her words met only silence. She gathered her white coat in trembling hands, holding it like a flag lowered at the end of a battle she never expected to fight. Walking out of the hospital doors, she felt smaller than she had ever been in her life. That night, Emily sat on the edge of her bed in her cramped apartment, staring at the folded coat in her lap. Rain tapped against the window, mirroring the ache inside her. Her phone buzzed with messages, a friend offering half-hearted sympathy, her mother reminding her that kindness often came at a cost, her landlord warning that rent was due soon. Emily pressed her palms to her face, the question pounding in her chest: did I do the right thing? Yes. Always yes. But the fear gnawed at her. Without her badge, was she still a doctor? Without her job, who was she at all? She didn't know the man she saved hadn't stopped thinking about her. Or that by sunrise, her life would never be the same again. At precisely 9 a.m., a sleek black car pulled up outside her apartment building. A sharply dressed man knocked at her door. "Dr. Emily Carter?" he asked, his tone firm but respectful. Emily blinked, still in her pajamas. "Yes, that's me. The chairman of St. Mark's Medical Institute requests your presence immediately." Emily frowned. "St. Mark's? That's the biggest hospital network in the city. I think you have the wrong person." "No mistake," the man replied. "The chairman himself asked for you." Her heart skipped. She slipped on old sneakers, pulled her hair into a messy bun, and followed him into the waiting car. St. Mark's was nothing like the community hospital she'd just been fired from. Marble floors gleamed under chandeliers. Doctors in tailored suits walked briskly through pristine corridors. Emily felt like she didn't belong. The man led her into a private suite. On the bed, with oxygen tubes at his nose, lay the same old man she had saved the night before. His eyes lit up the moment he saw her. "You," he rasped, his voice thin but full of gratitude. You gave me another sunrise. Emily froze. I just did what anyone would do. The old man chuckled softly, shaking his head. No, my dear. Not everyone would risk their career for a stranger on the pavement. He extended a frail hand. Emily gently took it. My name is Charles Whitmore. Chairman of this hospital. Emily's mouth fell open. She had saved not just a patient, but one of the most powerful men in medicine. Charles turned to the board members gathered in the room. His voice, though weak, carried command. This woman chose compassion over protocol. That is the kind of leadership our system needs. Emily's cheeks burned. Sir, I just lost my job for that choice. Charles's eyes softened. Then allow me to correct that injustice. Silence fell. Then Charles declared, effective immediately, Dr. Emily Carter will serve as the new medical director of St. Mark's Institute. Gasps rippled through the room. Emily's knees nearly buckled. A medical director? I'm too young, too inexperienced. Charles squeezed her hand. Titles don't save lives. People do. And you, my dear, proved that last night. Tears blurred her vision as applause filled the room. For the first time since losing her job, Emily felt seen. Days passed like a dream. News outlets covered her story, doctor fired for saving a life becomes director overnight. Medical students shared her photo online, calling her a symbol of courage. Families stopped her in the hallway just to thank her for choosing humanity over rules. Emily didn't let the praise change her. Every decision she made was guided by that night. She rewrote emergency response policies, ensuring no doctor would ever fear losing their job for saving someone outside the walls. And every morning, Charles sat in the hospital garden, breathing air he thought he'd never taste again, smiling each time Emily passed. You gave me my tomorrows, he would say. And Emily would reply, humbled, you gave me my purpose. Her story spread far beyond their city. Parents told their children about her at dinner tables. Nurses in small towns carried her words into their night shifts. People remembered that in a world of rules and regulations, kindness was still the most powerful law of all. Because Emily's journey proved a truth the world often forgets, careers can be rebuilt, but lives cannot. Titles can be taken, but compassion endures. Sometimes the very moment that seems to break you, becomes the beginning of a life you never imagined. Years later, Emily stood at the podium during St. Mark's anniversary gala. Behind her, Charles sat in his wheelchair, his smile warm and proud. Emily's voice rang clear, I once lost my job for saving a life. Today, I lead this institution because of it. Let this remind us all, the world doesn't change through rules alone. It changes when ordinary people choose kindness, even when it costs them everything. The audience rose in thunderous applause. And in that moment, Emily knew, her story wasn't just hers anymore. It belonged to everyone who still believed that one act of compassion could change the world.